Kaboom Test Labs presents issue number 5, Nerds with Issues, NWI.
Número 5.
Johnny 5 is alive. We could go on for hours on it. I am your host, Doughboy. With you, as always, the other hosts in the building, Mr. Admiral
Duke. How are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm super.
I'm chilling.
All right.
B-wok's just chilling. How you doing, B-wok?
I'm kicking it, man. I'm making like a foot and just kicking it, man.
I don't even know what that means. But let you make like a tree. Get out of here. Lots to talk about this week. It seems like every week I say that, but it's so true. Because it seems like we have nothing, and then the 30 minutes we sit down before the show, all of a sudden, like, everything comes about. So
just pours out like a fountain of knowledge and wisdom.
And we'll try not to bounce from direction to direction. I'll see if I can keep it flowing, but it's going to be rough.
You've done a pretty good job so far.
Well, where should we start? I guess this week, let's start with our picks of the week.
Absolutely.
I hadn't gotten my comic books in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right, that was bad. I'll admit.
You had a trip. You had a whole thing going on. It's fine.
Yeah, so I did my California trip.
Yeah, you had a fabulous trip to California.
It was great.
It was
you missed
enjoyable, wasn't it?
It was until
me and the Admiral totally witnessed your.
Yeah, I just want to clarify this. You went to California to view that wonderful Super Bowl, right?
My team was in the Super Bowl.
That was just mean.
My
mean.
team was in the Super Bowl.
I was just gonna say we saw you tweeting pics like, all right, just woke up from a nap, kicking it next to like a pool,
yeah,
like a palm.
It was great.
Palm tree. I don't even know what's going on with it.
Yeah, I was jealous of that.
I think you were more jealous that none of my players shot themselves in the face in front of their coach. But let's leave it. Let's leave it alone.
Kind of asked for it.
Let's leave it alone.
Wow.
We'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone. But what I do have to say to that is, hey man, nice shot. But anyways. Let's jump back in.
Should we actually refer to what you're talking about?
No. I want to leave it at that.
Goodness.
And I might have found the show title. I'm just saying.
If you don't know, now you know.
So, no, it was a good trip, except for getting pulled over 3 times on the way back by the Arizona. Yeah, I don't want to get all into it, but I will say this. Arizona as a state, I love you people. Your law enforcement sucks.
Yes.
And they like to profile. Anyways, it was a good trip. It's good to be back. But, yeah, I missed out on a lot of books. I did a little bit of catching up tonight. I'm going to start with my pick of the week.
Go for it.
My pick of the week is, well, it's been my pick of the week before, but I'm doing it again. End of Days, number 5 of 8. End of Days, Daredevil, End of Days. For those of you that are not on this, I won't spoil anything. I will say this. It is one of the best series of books I've ever read anywhere, anytime, and I'm sad that it's only going to be 8 issues. For those of you that don't know what it's about it takes place about 10, 15 years in the future of the Marvel Universe.
True, but I'm almost led to believe this is like an alternate future because the Daily Bugle's still publishing,
sure,
and Jameson's still the
it's
publisher.
Definitely so. It's set 10 to 15 years in one of the universes of Marvel,
with some details slightly skewed, but more or less, yeah.
And basically, it starts out with Daredevil being brutally murdered.
4 pages in, you see, I'd say arguably the most graphic mainstream superhero death of all time.
Yes,
that is a really good point. I hadn't thought about that.
It basically comes down to Ben Urich, the journalist who knows Matt Murdock is Daredevil and has been following him for years. Basically, he's investigating his death as to why it happened the way it did and what was going on, and he is, for lack of a better term, he is headed down the rabbit hole, and it's getting crazy. Issue 5, by far, so far, is the best. As it normally goes, we were talking about that.
Each issue, it's one of those rare series that each issue seems to top itself.
And is it just me, or has every cover been amazing?
Well, that's Alex Maley for you. Who, if you don't know who that is, he did most of the Daredevil run with Bendis when he first worked on the book for like 80 issues or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
The man's awesome. He's got a great just noir style, and it's perfect.
Yes.
Now, being the guy that hasn't actually read the series, but I have seen every single issue come past me, because I am in the shop almost every day.
Right.
I have been struck by the covers, and every time the new issue will come out, I go, man, I need to jump on this. Man, I need to jump on this.
And this is my favorite cover too.
Yeah, and I saw it, and it
mind blowing.
The cover ruins.
Well, not really,
things.
but it definitely you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And it's that good. But the storyline, and just like you were saying, the really the noir feel to it, and the detective noir kind of old school feel. Ben Urich is awesome. They really draw him in. First of all, as far as the artwork, it's beautiful, but his character, the dialogue is awesome with everybody he interacts with. Like, you feel his pain through the whole thing. He's in this weird conflicted thing, like, should I even be writing this story? But as he goes, it just gets deeper and deeper into it, and it's phenomenal, really.
And who is writing this?
It's actually co-written by Brian Michael Bendis, who's kind of been the man at Marvel. If you don't know who he is, I don't know why.
Wow.
Yeah,
but and he's co-writing with David Mack, who actually is the guy who got him in at Marvel.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so the two of them were working together. Klaus Janson is doing the pencils on. Bill Sienkiewicz is doing the inks. So it's really just the four of the greatest dudes who have ever worked on Daredevil writing his final days.
Well, and that makes me excited about getting into it because Powers is hands down one of my favorite series
Powers
of all
is
time.
incredible.
All time. And Brian Michael Bendis just kills everything he does.
And if you haven't gotten into it, grab some, go down to Kaboom, East, West. If we don't have it, we'll order it. I happen to know for a fact they have issue 1, 4, and 5 at the store. I know that for a fact. I saw those today.
Yes, sir.
So pick those up, and if you can't get them, get it digitally and read it. I'm going to say this, and this will be in my rant on my pick of the week. This is a book that we'll be talking about 10 to 15 years from now.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
This is a book I'm taking to San Diego Comic-Con to get it signed. Duke, your pick of the week, sir.
Well, the thing is, there's been so much going on in quote-unquote Duke world this week. I've been really hard-pressed.
That's a sitcom I'd want to watch.
Yeah, thank
Duke
you.
world.
Thank you.
Terrible theme song.
Terrible
Duke
theme
meets
song.
world.
But actually, my pick of this week is not a current book. It's actually a collection of arguably one of the biggest crossovers in years for Marvel. And that would be the AVX Collected Edition. And I know most people are like, oh, AVX is played out. You know, we've already done that. We've already talked about this. But
Yeah.
I am telling you that I have talked to so many people about it this week. And if you haven't read every single element that was released with Avengers versus X-Men, you are missing out on the entire story.
Yes.
There were when I was at WonderCon last year, I had the opportunity to sit in Marvel's digital panel, and I got to read Infinite Comics AVX #1, and it was the short little story that introduces you to Nova. And Nova is fleeing from the Phoenix Force, and he's trying to warn the Earth.
Right.
And we, #1 of AVX picks up with Nova crashing and the Avengers finding him. Well,
Right.
This is what happened before that. And just a personal note, it was really cool to read that sitting right next, as close as I am to you, to Mark Waid, who wrote it.
Nice.
So
Mark Waid's the man. If you haven't been reading Daredevil, the regular Daredevil,
Amazing.
you're missing out.
Amazing.
You're wow.
But I mean, just the opportunity to sit next to the writer who wrote it while
Mark's
I
a
was
great
reading
guy.
it.
I mean, God, the first time I met him, I think I had 5 books, some of his Fantastic Four work. He actually wrote the first Deadpool miniseries. The man's got an extensive body of work, but I mean, I was just so starstruck, and he was about as nice as could be, man.
Well,
Cool
he
dude.
is. He is one of the kindest people. I chuckled while I was reading it, and he goes, "I hope that's a good chuckle." And I'm like, "It's a great chuckle," because there's just so much character and so much thought put into what he writes. But
Mark Waid's the man.
But I just
Shout
want
out
to
to Mark
point
Waid.
out that if you didn't read any of the Infinite Comics, the digital stories that had to do with AVX, you are simply missing out on the whole story.
Right.
Because what is explored is how the Phoenix Force and all that in #1. There was the digital comics #6, which to me is a unheralded classic.
Right.
It simply is, because it gives you an idea into Scott Summers' mind, and Cyclops is, I'm sorry for lack of a better phrase, batshit crazy.
Yeah, he's out there.
I mean, absolutely. And this issue, if you ever get a chance to pick up the collected edition, you've just got to read it, because it tells you how much he has lost touch with all of reality.
Absolutely.
That's a good point. And I'll say this. If you haven't read it and you're reading all new X-Men, you're kind of lost as to why that whole thing's going on.
Absolutely, because there is there is a jaw-dropping moment in that one that I can't believe that more people haven't read.
Yes, and on that note, I'd like to mention, I mean, if you're listening and you're like, oh, I read AVX just a couple months ago, I don't want to reread it. I mean, the collected edition is great. I mean, that's what graphic novels are for, but I think especially the hardcover AVX. I mean, the book was great in general. I loved it, but I mean, it's so much better once you actually sit down and read it.
It is so well fleshed out once you have all the pieces. And the one last thing I want to include in this, just going off about these digital issues, is what bothered me about the book before I'd read the Infinite number 10 was I didn't really understand why Tony Stark, Iron Man, had this odd change of heart where all of a sudden he's a man of faith.
Yeah.
Yes. Digital
number 10 fills in the blank there, and you totally understand why he has this change of heart. And that's all I'm saying. It fleshes it out so well. The $75 price tag may make people cringe, but I'm telling you, every single page is worth every single penny.
Bring in some books for trade. Bring in some books for trade and get it. You know, you've got to have some old stuff laying around you don't need, and if it's good and it's something we can use, we'll take it. If you've got other graphic novels and they're in good condition, action figures, bring them in. That's the best way to get something like that. So your pick of the week is going to be the collector's edition trade of AVX.
Absolutely. Complete. It's hands down unbelievable, and that's really kind of all I got to say about it.
Good call. I dig it. Mr. B-wok, your pick of the week, sir.
My pick of the week is going to have to be Ultimate Spider-Man, issue 20, part 2 of the Venom War. And this is a book that, if you don't know, Ultimate Spider-Man recently, as about a year ago or so, relaunched, which is why they're on issue 20, because he was sitting there going, I thought that book was on 160.
Yeah.
What had happened was Ultimate Spider-Man, if you don't know the history of the Ultimate Universe, I'll give you a brief rundown. The year 2000, Marvel's sitting there going, X-Men's coming out in a year. Spider-Man's coming out in 2 years. Chances are most of these kids that are going to go watch these movies aren't going to go back to 1963 and read from number 1. So it was a real simple idea. Just all these characters are classic. People know of them. Just start a new series with the same characters, same basic ideas and plot threads. Just modernize it. So they created an Ultimate an Ultimate Spider-Man started in 99. Did Ultimate X-Men, Ultimates. They all started out great. Where they ended up, that's a whole different story. However, I'd like to say Ultimate Spider-Man had always been very consistent. And if you didn't hear, which I don't know how you didn't, last summer, Ultimate Peter Parker met his end, which was, if you haven't read that, incredible.
And a classic story.
I've still got to read it.
Beautiful. It's moving.
Classic.
Still got to read it.
It's right up there with the death of Superman, and honestly, it's probably better. I hate to say that.
I wouldn't even go that far, but I will say it's up there with Death of Superman because it's reverential to the death of Superman.
And I will take your opinion, and I can't really put an argument because I haven't read it. But wow,
I wouldn't go that far.
Something. Well, I'll put it to you this way: I didn't shed a tear with the death of Spider-Man, but I did shed a tear with the death of Superman.
Oh, it's hard not
However, I was kind of a kid when I read it. But yeah, I mean that was the death of Superman. That was the cornerstone of kind of
comics in the 90s. I would argue.
But also who I was becoming as a person. At
the exact same. How old were you when you read that?
I was 1992, so I was. Let's see.
I was 14. You're 4 years older.
I was
than
16.
Me.
I was 18 when I read the death.
You had to be 18 because I was 14.
I was 18.
Yep. That's really odd because I was 18 when I read the death of Ultimate Spider-Man as it came out. That's really odd. And what's even odder is it came out 18.
Holy crap!
It came out like a month after I graduated high school, so it was almost like an odd sort of sign.
Right.
Anyway, we're getting off track.
Okay.
The point is, 20. The Ultimate book recently relaunched with a new Spider-Man. There's a new kid, 13-year-old kid from Brooklyn named Miles Morales, who through an odd chain of events ended up getting bit with another Oscorp genetically altered spider, which therein gives him the powers of Spider-Man with some new twists, as well as being able to walk on walls and all that good stuff. He also has some cool stuff like invisibility going on. Right. It's an interesting take on the character, and I think a lot of people were turned off initially thinking, a black Spider-Man that's so
gimmicky.
Absolutely. And I'll admit, I even kind of thought the same thing, but 20 issues in...
Same club. I thought the same thing. I thought it was a huge
it's hard not to think that. Absolutely. I mean, the name's Miles Morales. You got to sit there you got to believe that Marvel is sitting there going, what are the most Latino and the most black names we could think of? African, Miles and Morales. Yeah. Let's make it happen.
Oh, man.
That sounds like Marvel.
But I mean, we're 20 issues in, and I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised and have been each issue. I mean, and what's currently, and I'm not going to spoil this issue, but I mean, something happens in here that I totally saw coming, and as I read it and watched the events unfold, I wish I hadn't have called it, and wish that the things that I thought were happening weren't happening.
And when you told me about this, I loved your reaction because it was like you were absolutely horrified that you were right.
I was. I mean, I was literally yelling reading this issue, going, "No, awesome. Not him!" But no, what's really cool about this book is that, I mean, you're getting a really young Spider-Man. He's like 13,
He is.
still in middle school, and I think that's
a great character.
I think it's such a great draw for younger audiences.
Yeah.
Personally, as someone who read the original Ultimate Spider-Man at a young age, about 10 or 11 or so,
Right.
I think it's a great draw, and it gives you a fresh perspective of a young Spider-Man learning his powers and learning the way of things. But more, and even in this particular issue, you really even see him kind of being like, how does this web shooter thing work? How does this web shooter thing works? It's really... It's what's great about the book is that despite the fact it's a totally new character, the heart of it is absolutely true to the core of Spider-Man, that with great power comes great responsibility.
Nice.
And that's what Miles Morales, and I think if nothing else, it's a great contrast to what's going on in the 616 with Marvel. Because here you have 2 deaths of Spider-Mans and 2 replacements for Spider-Mans. The Ultimate being the superb example.
Yes, sir.
The superior being the inferior example.
Being a train wreck of an example.
Yeah.
Okay, so then your pick of the week isn't Superior Spider-Man 3.
It is not.
Okay,
It is
so
Ultimates.
your pick of the week is Ultimate Spider-Man number 20.
Yes.
All right.
Now, I'm going to be flat out honest. I haven't read Superior Spider-Man number 3.
I envy you.
But I am astonished with the amount of people that are suddenly and out of nowhere praising it.
But do you think these people are just suck-ups that just have to just be like,
No,
Marvel, check it.
You know what I do think? I think those are all people that are reading Spider-Man that are sitting there going, hey, I've never read Spider-Man, but there's a new number 1, and this is kind of cool.
That's possible.
I think that is possible. However, we're talking about avid comic book readers, people that read comics. And,
Yes.
and these are the people that I'm talking to. And they're saying, you know what? It's getting better. I don't know if it actually is getting better or if they really want it to get better.
Wishful thinking, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of like, have you ever just walked in someone's house and be like, oh my God, their house smells awful. And like 20 minutes later, you're not even fazed by it because you've gotten used to it. Is that it? Have we gotten used to the level of crap that is put out by Dan Slott that we're just kind of just, I think people are just really so jaded at this point because of how long he's been on the book that they're like, I mean, it's about the same level of crap that I've always read. So,
yeah. Well, I'd rather read Ultimate Spider-Man, which I'll get into eventually.
And see, here's the thing.
I'll lend you the trades for those.
That trend with people going, oh, well, Superior Spider-Man's not so bad. I have to juxtapose that with the other weird thing that was happening with comics this week.
I just want to point out that that's the second issue in a row that you've used the word juxtapose, but go ahead.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
That's a great magazine, if nothing else.
I love it. I love it.
Well, hey, the word of the day, toilet paper is paying off.
Nice.
But what is really weird to me is that I have people saying, well, Superior Spider-Man isn't that bad. And I have people coming in trying to cancel Uncanny Avengers.
I'm going to get angry.
Dude, and here's the thing. What has happened each and every time I said, okay, you want to cancel Uncanny Avengers. Have you read issue 3? And the answer every single time was no. And I said, do me a favor. You read issue 3, and then you come back and tell me you want to cancel it.
Yep.
And one person came back and said, you're right, I'm staying on. Now, the same complaint I'm hearing from everybody is that it's taking too long for the book to come out, and I totally 100% agree with that.
I do agree, but I'll say this. Marvel has so many great titles in the meantime that it's like icing on the cake when it comes out.
Yes, and I would like to be the bearer of good news in that Daniel Acuna, a new artist, will be on with issue 6, new story arc. So that means we might see the book on time.
Okay.
Wow. I know, right? Unheard of. Hey, I'd like to, while I have the moment.
I actually like Cassidy's artwork currently.
Me too, but I mean, he reminds me, I mean, that's kind of why I'm concerned with Guardians of the Galaxy as well. As excited as I am for that book, does anyone remember when McNeven was drawing Captain America, took 8 months to get 5 issues out?
I remember
I'm
that.
concerned.
Yeah.
That's my only thing is that, and issue 1's already been pushed back, so I'm excited, but I'm concerned. But on the note of good comic book news, I know you'll be stoked to know issue 12 for World's Finest. We'll see Power Girl back in the classic costume.
No.
Yep. Yes.
You're kidding me.
I'm not even
That
joking.
segues perfect
this?
into what I wanted to talk about next.
How did I miss it?
How did you? I think it was out today, just like news.
Oh, my
But yes,
goodness.
she's going back, man.
Oh, because the current outfit is so awful.
It is.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to be a pig. I'm really not, okay? But Power Girl is who she is because she's kind of open about who she is as a woman.
I personally think her secret identity should be Tits McGee.
Yes, Anchorman reference for the win.
I'm just saying. Okay, so but I want to segue into something with that really quick.
Yeah.
I've dropped not even almost. I've dropped every new 52 title I was getting now.
The only one that I'm reading consistently is Aquaman.
I've dropped them, and I'm going to tell you this: I'm not going to go back. I've dropped Superman.
Oh, wow.
That's how
huge for you.
disappointed I am in DC and everything they've done, with the exception of before Watchmen. And as funny as this is going to sound, He-Man Masters of the Universe.
No, that book is amazing.
Yes, six issues in, and then they just did the origin of He-Man, which I didn't read. I just read the sixth issue. But it's so well done. It's so great. But everything else, the only DC books I'm doing are He-Man and Smallville season 11.
It's really funny you say that because I've had so many people tell me, yeah, the Superman books have been pretty bad, but Hell on Earth has been amazing.
Haven't even cared to read it. I've got most of them, and I haven't even
Well,
cared to read it.
well, here's the thing. I am going to jump on the entire Hell on Earth series next week, and I will be able to talk about it in issue 6.
The only thing I'm even maybe partially excited for, I'm sorry, I still am keeping Batman because when Death in the Family ends, I want to see what goes next. But the only thing I'm excited about coming up, Jimmy Palmiotti just announced that he's going to be working on Batwing.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
And there's going to be new armor for that. And yes.
Yep.
Wow.
So that I'll probably start picking up. But DC needs to do something. They need to do something fast.
I think I already know what they're going to do to get you back on their boat. You haven't heard of Man of Steel with Scott Snyder and Jim Lee? Are you going to sit there and tell me that you're not going to pick up that issue number 1 and every issue following?
Maybe.
Well, I have to say, Aquaman and World's Finest, and the only reason I'm reading World's Finest
I think I might be reading
is because of Power Girl.
It's odd that I'm sitting in a room with 2 Superman fanboys and I'm reading more DC than either of them.
That's crazy.
That is weird.
I just, and
Dude,
and I'll get back into Swamp Thing. I will. Because Swamp Thing was really good.
Incredible.
Animal Man. I can't tell you how disappointed with not just the story, the artwork. It's been simplistic, just really kind of like, don't really care. That's shocking to me.
Yeah, that is pretty disappointing. Wow.
But I'm loving everything right now about Marvel now for the most part.
I was just about to say, Marvel is straight killing it.
I don't want to be like one of those guys because, for years and years, it's really been Marvel, Marvel, Marvel.
Right.
Can't believe I just said that 3 times and got it out that way. But it's really, Marvel now is really freaking good.
It is. And
Uncanny Avengers, all new X-Men.
Absolutely.
You got Deadpool, you got Hawkeye,
You have Avengers.
You have
Daredevil.
You have Uncanny Avengers launching in the next month. And by the
Uncanny
way,
X-Men.
Uncanny
what did I
X-Men.
say?
Uncanny Avengers.
Oh, well, see,
that's okay.
See, I was,
They're just
Fantastic
so many
Four,
good
FF,
books.
Thor, God of Thunder. Yeah,
I'm loving FF.
FF is freak.
I'm
Did you read
loving
3?
FF.
Did you read issue 3?
I did read issue 3.
Incredible.
I'm going to have to get into it, I guess.
Well, and the thing is, the one complaint that I'm hearing about FF is people either love Mike Allred's art or they hate it.
Which I don't understand. I don't know how you don't like Allred.
Well, look,
Phoenix
honestly,
Comic-Con.
I kind of get it. I mean, he's an odd duck. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's true.
But his artwork to me is amazing.
I think the people who don't like Allred, and if you don't know, Allred is my
Mad
all-time
Men.
favorite. Tied actually with, yes, I love Madman to death. I'm a diehard Madman fan.
Creator of Mad Men.
Yes, but I mean, Mike Allred and Mark Bagley are tied for my all-time favorite comic book artists, which is really odd and awesome for me that they would be working on sister books. But anyway, his style is very pop arty and very reverential to the Silver Age of comics.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you don't get that, it just comes off as weird and almost Muppety looking, if that makes any sense.
No.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
I've loved Mike Allred since Mallrats, so
Yes, he's in that. Oh, yeah. Don't get, that's one of my favorite films of all time.
I just know that they've got to do something, and they've got to do something quick with DC because you can't survive on maybe 4 good titles.
Look, this is what I've been saying about DC for years. DC is powerfully mismanaged, and they have been. They always have been.
Yeah.
It's like it's their cultural. It's like their corporate culture.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. It makes no logical sense when you have some of the best characters in pop culture. It makes no sense.
I feel like DC doesn't know how to really market their characters. In that, I mean, perfect example is DC Animated. As much as I love what they put out, we're looking at. I mean, all their stuff is great. I mean, whether you like Superman, Doomsday, that's a whole nother story. We're not going to get into that.
Right.
I don't want to get you on a rant.
But I mean, well, that was the worst of all of them.
And it was their first, really. But I mean,
It's terrible.
But I mean.
Anne Heche as Lois Lane? Are you freaking kidding me?
Agreed. But look at it this way: you're looking. I mean, all those movies, with the exception of that, maybe they're all great films. But you got Superman, who's got 5, 6 films. That's understandable. He's Superman. Batman's got 8 of them. Same deal. But it's Batman's what you expect. Green Lantern's got a couple. Wonder Woman has 1. Flash has no. How does a character like the Flash,
have none?
No animated films. I mean, I look at their live action films. I mean, granted, the Dark Knight trilogy was incredible, but I mean, and Watchmen was awesome. But
I think the live action version of the Flash was animated enough for everybody. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, but you and I are the only ones that remember that.
Just want to let people know you can get the entire series for like $10 at Best Buy right now of the Flash.
Nice.
I might do that just so we can have something cheesy to watch one of these nights, dude. That'd be awesome. So yeah, really, when it comes down to it, Marvel is still winning the battle. DC's just not cutting
I feel like in DC's mind, their only real aces to them are Batman and sometimes Superman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When the fact is they don't. I mean, I think Green Lantern failed.
Well, they're the cash cows.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Green Lantern failed regardless of whether they liked the film or not. I think it was a flop. That can't be denied. I think it's because, once again, they don't know how to push that character because there's so much potential there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's like I've always said. I mean, you just have to deal with the fact that Hollywood is stupid.
Absolutely.
I mean, what they're trying to do is take something that is a niche and mass market it.
Yes, exploit it.
And they either do it well or they completely screw it up. So I mean, you can look at this however you want. But it is all about how you manage your properties, and DC doesn't know what the hell they're doing. I'm sorry. I mean,
I think that comes down to Warner Brothers not knowing what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, amen to that. I mean, you can't make a good superhero movie except a Superman movie or a Batman movie. Well, and you screwed up the last Superman movie.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
and we're all sitting here wondering if the next one will be any good. Let's be honest.
The jury's still out.
We're all a little cautiously optimistic to be nice about it.
Jury's still out on it, but I don't think the jury's really out on DC. Basically, the bottom line is step it up because we're not buying the BS anymore.
Yeah.
You lost a customer right here on quite a few books. I'm going to end up, I think right now, I'll stick with Batman. I'll stick with Smallville season 11, He-Man, Swamp Thing, and I'll pick up those the 4 issues of Human Bomb.
World's Finest has been good because it features one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
And she, for once, has a book of her own where she also has a very solid supporting cast.
Nice.
You know, I love the Huntress in the book. And I'm also liking Earth 2. But if Earth 2, World's Finest, and Aquaman are all I'm reading, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, definitely not good.
I don't know. I'm to this day saying that Wonder Woman's still one of my favorite books on stands. I'm loving the direction that book is taking, and the Admiral
You've
and I
been consistent about that.
I have.
I think it's a joke, but you've been consistent.
Yeah, I stopped. Well, I've stopped all DC, but you know what? Now we're even giving them too much press. So, we talk about everything on the show. I mean, we go from comics to TV shows to movies, and Duke bringing in Hollywood on our last little rant there kind of moves into to the next feel here. We're going to talk a couple movies.
Big Star Wars news.
There is big Star Wars news. We'll get into that in a second. I wanted to really quick go over a movie I watched the other night. I was I was just back from my trip. I was a little bored.
Why am I worried?
Oh, well. I didn't say I watched it for 5 minutes.
Oh,
and
it wasn't one of those
cleaned up.
movies.
Yeah. So I got back from my California trip, and I'm watching this movie, and it's actually, it was kind of cool. Katie Sackhoff.
What is this movie?
Katie Sackhoff. Do you know who she is?
Yes, she was Starbuck.
Okay.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
She is also a minor Mandalorian in Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
She is also a babe. If she were president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
She's an extreme babe, and she has a new movie she's in. It's called The Haunting in Connecticut Part 2, The Ghosts of Georgia. I never saw Haunting in Connecticut because I heard it was stupid, so I just didn't see the first one.
Right.
And she had tweeted about this movie, and somebody tweeted her going, well, I never saw the first, and she goes, it's a complete different movie. The studio just wanted to use that name. That's what we went with. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm down for that. So I watch it. It's a scary movie. It's basically a family that moves to this kind of rural area in Georgia, little farm area. It's a family. They move into this place. It's a husband, his wife, his daughter, and her sister, who is played by Katie Sackhoff, who is a redhead in this film.
What?
Very nice.
And I lost my mind. I did a little live tweeting while I was watching it. And the screenwriter of the movie actually favorited one of my tweets, which I thought was cool.
We love that.
It's always cool. It's always a nice little Nerds with Issues ego boost. But it was really cool because the story was fairly unique. It's based on a true story, quotation marks in the air there. The mother, the daughter, and the sister all have kind of visions. They see dead people. And they're on a farm that was once a safe haven for slaves on the Underground Railroad. And basically, the daughter's starting to see these images, and the killer that was there before, the ghost of him, is still there, and he's murderous and crazy. And it's really spooky. It's really kind of good. It's not like a great classic horror film. I mean, it's something I'll watch again, but I wouldn't say it's a classic. But I would say it is way better than the title would have you believe. And Katie Sackhoff is awesome in it. And it has a really great ending.
So it's definitely a flu movie.
I don't know what you mean by that.
You get the flu, you stay home, watch the movie.
No, this is one of those.
That's Ferris Bueller, actually.
Yeah. No, this is one of those, if you're chilling and you want to just relax, either, by yourself or just kicking it with people and you want to watch a little bit of a scary movie, it's a good way to go.
There you go.
It's a good movie. I dug the acting. I dug the storyline. At first, it was a little slow. Like the first 10 minutes, I was just kind of like, what's going on here? But then it picked up, and I thought it was really good. So if you haven't seen it, you can. It's in some theaters, but it's basically on demand. So check it out. Seriously, it's worth the $4 or $5. It really is that good. It's called The Haunting in Connecticut, Ghosts of Georgia, I believe.
Nice.
And it's good. It's definitely good. Check it out if you get a chance. Duke, you mentioned a movie to me that you saw. Let's talk about it.
Here's the thing. I had heard about this film, didn't see any press about it, didn't see anybody talk about it. And then my daughter just happened to go see it. And she's like, Dad, you have to go see Warm Bodies. And I'm like, Warm Bodies? That's the movie about the girl that falls in love with the zombie. She goes, yeah, but you don't understand. You have to go see this movie. And it just so happened my wife and I were supposed to go see a completely different movie. Things got messed up, and we were just like, well, heard this was good. Let's go see it. Dude, I have not been surprised by a movie like this
Since The Muppets.
Oh, dude, it has been so long since I have been genuinely pleased that I was surprised by a film. And this movie surprised me in so many ways. But the best part is it keeps surprising me. Warm Bodies, it starts out, it's the zombie apocalypse. Okay, big surprise. It's the zombie apocalypse. There's a small band of humans left, and the zombies are everywhere. But there's some very important elements that are going on here. The zombies are evolving.
Okay.
Or in one way, devolving. And there's two types of zombies. There's the regular corpse types, and then there's the bonies. And what happens with the bonies is that this is what happens essentially when a zombie just gives up and starts peeling off their skin to the point that they become skeletal.
Okay.
It's kind of a trip, right? Okay.
Sounds weird.
Absolutely, very weird. But it's so a part of the story that this movie is trying to tell. And it follows one zombie named R who is becoming oddly self-aware. And you don't exactly understand why, but it's very much expressed in the film. And what's crazy about it is he's a hoarder. He has his own little area that he keeps away from the rest of the zombies. And he's hiding stuff. And what really messed me up about this when I started thinking about the film was I watched the movie WALL-E. Think about it. You saw this movie.
Yeah.
And what are you thinking when I say that?
That R is Wally? I don't know where you're going with this.
Do you remember? Okay, so you remember in WALL-E when WALL-E he's a hoarder.
Yes.
He keeps all of his stuff in that trash compactor.
Yeah.
And he takes the girl to his spot, which is exactly what R does.
Yeah.
You don't see the line.
I
there?
see it, but I mean, that's
but now that's just
kind of
pissing
what,
me off. It's like whoa, zombie movie doing some Wall-E stuff. I'm not cool with that.
Well, look, I'm getting way ahead of myself, but
I'm
I
like,
saw this.
if we're drawing these parallels, like I don't know how many girls I've brought over to my comic book collection.
No. But here's the thing: I didn't realize till 3/4 of the way through the film that this movie is actually an adaptation. And it is not marketed as an adaptation, but it is an adaptation of a classic story, and it goes deep, and it even explores this odd subtext about human connection.
Absolutely,
it's one of those movies that I didn't expect it to be deep. You know,
I can definitely agree with you on that one. I myself saw the film this week as well. I had been stoked and was. I think for me, I mean, the film opens up with God. I wish I could remember the actor's name, but he played Beast in First Class.
Oh yeah,
he's cool.
Great actor.
Probably the luckiest son of a gun on the planet because he gets to date Jennifer Lawrence, the bastard. And yeah, because Jennifer Lawrence is mighty fine. Anyway,
yeah. Speaking of mighty fine, who is the blonde in this movie?
I don't know, and she is hot. But I think who I preferred was her friend, the brunette one,
right?
Because she was in Crazy Stupid Love, the teenage one that's like in love with like Steve Carell,
right?
And I don't know. I've always thought she's hot. I don't know what it is, but anyway, the film opens up with this great, just kind of narration that just kind of grips you, just because
Absolutely.
of how brutally honest it is. But I mean, personally, the moment that got me in the film, because it's going, and I'm thinking, man, there's a cool movie. I'm liking it. But there's a scene where he's hoarding, he's collecting vinyl records, and Bob Dylan's "Shelter from the Storm" comes on.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm sorry, but Bob Dylan's "Blood on the Tracks" is one of the greatest albums ever recorded.
I mean,
so
that's
at that
dope.
point, I'm just like, all right, I'm sold on this movie. I don't need to see anything else. I love it, and it's a great film. Absolutely.
Now, we're not talking Shaun of the Dead zombies. We're not talking
Walking Dead zombies.
George Romero zombies.
Right.
It's a little bit zombie light.
It's
a little bit.
It's kind of cheesy. It's a little self-aware.
Yes, but the fact that, and I've been telling people that if you've been hearing about the zombie, bandwagon, and you've been looking for a place, but you're just not sure you want to get into zombies, this is a zombie primer. It simply is a good place to get into zombies.
I might
ready
check
yet.
it out. Walking Dead is really the gist of it for me.
Yeah,
when it comes
Speaking
to
of which,
zombies.
we're about a day away at this point.
A day away.
Yes,
from,
Sunday.
Oh
Sunday.
yeah,
We'll be talking about it
my
next
goodness.
week.
Oh yes, we will.
We'll be talking about that. I mean, there's going to be tons of cool stuff coming in the next week to talk about.
Oh,
but
yeah.
as far as the zombie genre goes, it was even hard for me to get into Walking Dead. I didn't get into the first season until it was over, and then I watched all 6 episodes on Netflix, and I was like, no, this is really great. I love it because it's character driven.
Well, look, this is another entry into an odd subgenre, which is the rom-zom, the romantic zombie comedy.
See, that just sounds shitty.
No, I understand that, but
Okay.
this is an actual genre. Shaun of the Dead birthed the genre because Shaun of the Dead was a zombie romantic comedy, and that is exactly what Warm Bodies is. And if you've ever seen, Fido, have you ever seen Fido with I'm losing my mind. It's another one that's a zombie romantic comedy. It's great stuff. But
Okay.
anyways,
Well, Warm Bodies, check it out. If you dig the zombie
Great
thing,
movie.
or if you're even thinking you might be a little intrigued by it, hell, why not? Check it out. I'm sure I'll check it out, and I'll give some really exciting response. I'm sure.
you just he doesn't even seem.
He's not sold on it yet.
Not at
No,
all.
that one's going to be very hard to sell me on, guys.
Well,
I'm not a zombie guy, and certainly not zombies falling in love.
all I was trying to do was waste 2 hours with my lovely wife. And
Well, okay.
instead, I found myself utterly compelled by a really quality film.
All right. I mean,
It's directed.
I'm not
well.
going to take my girl to go see Geely just because I need to waste some time. I mean, but I see what you're saying, I'll check it. I think. Other than that, I mean, we don't have a whole heck of a lot as far as movies go. We wanted to get into those two just because it was something we had talked about the last
But
few
there's
weeks.
some juicy buzz going on.
About
Oh, I don't know.
this is your
Star
yeah.
Wars.
So it seems like Disney is just enjoying giving us gifts every week.
I think they like being top cock on the block.
They really are right now. They really are everything right now, and now they
It's
have
a chicken, by the way.
I hope so. I don't know what blocks you frequent, bro. No one's looking for the top on that. They have announced that they are going to be doing 2 standalone movies.
Oh, my goodness.
And the rumors, even possibly 3, but what we're hearing is a Boba Fett standalone film.
Absolutely.
A young Han Solo standalone film, and even possibly a Yoda standalone film.
Well, and this is the way I'm understanding the news, is that it will be a Boba Fett standalone film that will feature a young Han Solo.
Yes.
That's the way I understand it.
And the Admiral and I are in agreement that the only way that I don't know if you'll still watch it. I probably won't even watch the film if it is not directed by Mr. Joe Johnston, who...
And let me explain that. A year ago, Joe Johnston said in an interview, and Joe Johnston is the guy who, during Empire Strikes Back, created the armor that is Boba Fett. And he actually is the guy who came up with a little bit of his backstory.
Okay.
This is Joe Johnston. Now, Joe Johnston went on to direct a little movie called The Rocketeer for Disney. He went on to record to direct another superhero film. I'm struggling as to what it was. Oh, that's right, Captain America: The First Avenger.
Okay.
You might have seen it.
You might have seen it.
Yeah.
Joe Johnston is a Hollywood guy. And
Okay.
And you know what? He is, to me, the best choice for this movie. And there's one other...
In my mind, he's the only logical choice for the film.
There's one other Hollywood acolyte that happens to think that Joe Johnston is a good choice, and that's Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith has been lobbying for Joe Johnston to do this Boba Fett movie, and I just don't think there's another choice. So I'm super powerfully excited about that.
You know, Disney seems to be making all the right choices, and if he's already got a background with them, I would imagine that's probably something that's already in their minds.
And then the really big news to me, which I don't know why more people aren't excited about this, but a Yoda standalone movie blows my mind.
I realized Doughboy was really disappointed when they said it wasn't going to be a Jar Jar Binks standalone film.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I wanted a Jar Jar Binks porn. Because think about it.
Here's the thing. Lucas didn't guard much about the Star Wars universe, not really. But the one thing that he guarded like it was a state secret was the background of Yoda. He never revealed much about his race, much about his backstory, much about where he came from, because he wanted Yoda to remain something of a mystery. And I think that them delving into who Yoda is as the ultimate Jedi, I think is fascinating, and I'm super excited to see it.
Yeah, it's also going to depend on how it's done. I mean, CGI Yoda, or are they going to do something like Gollum?
Yoda.
You know what I mean? Looking like, something like that, possibly.
Well, you say CGI Yoda. And
I don't know. Put Vern
Gollum.
Troyer in a suit and with the balls on him, and do it like that, all like that. They do video games,
Well, what I was trying to say was
the
motion
electric,
capture,
the motion
which is
capture
exactly
balls.
what you just described.
Yeah.
Yes,
balls. But anyways, go ahead.
Goodness gracious! But it.
You got distracted by the balls.
I totally did.
it happens to him on a daily basis.
Let my balls hypnotize you.
No one can resist his sweaty balls.
Yoda in this day and age has to be digital. He has to be motion capture, because the fact of the matter is that they can't pull off the puppet anymore. It's just
But he
not
can't
possible.
look shitty like he looked in
He can't
the
be
prequels.
He can't be flipping
Absolutely.
around all crazy. I don't want to see none of that crap.
However, he looked really good in Episode 3.
Yeah, they had no choice because
Yeah.
his big battle scene, his big
Right.
scene that everybody had been waiting to see, they couldn't
Right.
mess that up.
No, and Yoda looked amazing in Episode 3, and as long
Yeah.
as you do that, I think you're going to be fine. But so much has happened since 2005, man.
Yeah.
So much digitally has happened since 2005.
They can pull something
I
off.
think they're going to kill it.
Okay. So that's the big news if you haven't heard about it. The other thing, really quick, we haven't even talked about it. Have they come out with a Star Wars issue 2 of the Dark Horse comic?
No, but actually, that is next week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I need to get on issue 1 because I still haven't gotten that thing in the mail. I ordered that thing, and I had to send a complaint in to eBay on that. So,
Oh, what a bummer.
yeah, I'm not happy about
That's
that
always a
at
downer
all.
when that happens.
So I would out the eBay user, but I don't want to get sued. But yeah, so Star Wars, that is a comic book through Dark Horse, and apparently it's awesome. And they've
It
only
is
done
absolutely awesome, and I'm just going to beat a dead horse if I go on and on about this. But I am loving Brian Wood's writing, and I can't wait.
Brian Wood is the man.
I can't wait for next week.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So there we have it on that stuff.
That's the Star Wars expulsion for this week.
We have to, every week we've got to have something, but it seems like Disney makes it real easy for us.
Oh, my goodness, I forgot.
You
Star
got your...
Wars, The Clone Wars, Season 5, the second half is about to get underway.
Uh-huh.
The trailer for the remainder of this season blew my mind. Now, I've been telling people that I think that Anakin's apprentice in the show, which is a character named Ahsoka Tano, played by the lovely Ashley Eckstein,
Yeah.
I think she's going to die this season. However, there is an element that has been introduced in this new trailer that gave me an idea of where they're taking this character that I'd never realized that they might do, in that she may turn to the dark side.
Do you realize that Natty Gann, Meredith Salinger, voices one of the characters in the Clone Wars?
I had no idea.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Actors that
I
are in
believe
this show.
Doesn't Donald Faison do some work on there too?
I don't know, but I believe Meredith Salinger's character's name is
Barriss Ophi.
Barriss Ophi.
Barriss
Sorry.
Ophi, who was killed a couple episodes ago.
Spoiler alert.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
But apparently they're bringing her back to do some voicing for something for the season finale.
Oh well. You know what? I'm getting my Alien Jedi crossed. It was a different character. It's been a long day.
Okay, because I'm sitting here going, she didn't say that on her Twitter. I feel a little duped.
No. That's right.
For those that don't know, I love Meredith Salinger. She was my favorite, one of my favorite '80s actresses, and still does awesome. She was just on Anger Management with Charlie Sheen.
Nice.
And I guarantee it, we will have her on this show at some point. But yeah, she's on that. She's doing that. I mean, Dream a Little Dream, Journey of Natty Gann, freaking. Dude, it's Meredith Salinger, dude. She's freaking hot.
Well, look, here's the thing. If you're not watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars, you're missing some of the best TV that's out there if you're a Star Wars fan. And the other thing is that as they reach the end of this series, some amazing things are going to happen.
Yeah.
The last storyline is the Night Watch, which is the Mandalorians, where Boba Fett's armor comes from. Team up with Darth Maul and his brother.
Ooh.
Tell me that's not going to be amazing.
That'd be pretty kick-ass.
And the thing is...
Who's his brother?
His brother is Savage Opress, who is voiced by the amazing Clancy Brown, who is the voice of Lex Luthor in the Superman adventures. I mean, Clancy Brown is an amazing actor. He was in Shawshank Redemption. He's been in so much stuff. He just has this gruff voice. And I love everything he does about it. Sam Witwer is an amazing Darth Maul. He has been in he's in Being Human on is that on Sci-Fi?
I believe so.
Yeah, he's the vampire on that, and he plays the voice of Darth Maul. But then the amazing, the incomparable, I love this man, Jon Favreau plays Pre Vizsla, which is the leader of this evil Mandalorian group. And I'm just excited as to where this is going. And I think that this might
I can't imagine Jon Favreau playing anything but Foggy Nelson. Maybe that's just me.
Whoa.
Dude, Jon Favreau kills as Pre Vizsla because he is so evil, and he's just got this thick voice. It's amazing.
Yeah, Jon Favreau does tons of good stuff.
Season 5, I think, is going to go down as the best season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and I thought it was season 4.
All right. So we're going to hop off our Star Wars
Yes,
rant here, and we're going to get into some other stuff. So now this is the part where we talk a little bit about NWI. We're working on tons of different stuff. We've got some Kickstarter stuff we're going to be working on here in the next few weeks.
Yes, sir.
Website is still being worked on, but with Facebook and everything else, we're doing all right with that. Just to remind you, if you haven't liked us on Facebook yet, that's not cool. Nerds with Issues. Check us out on Facebook. Also, we've got a Twitter, and we've got way more likes on Facebook than we have Twitter followers. So get on that, at Nerds with Issues. And last but not least, it's something that I've been talking over the last couple weeks. We really want to, for all of our different listeners in different cities, we're looking to start putting together some street teams to where you'll be able to just kind of go into your local comic book shop and promote us. We'll send you some flyers. You can take them out there. We'll hook you up with some free comics and some NWI swag, stuff like that.
We're all about hooking people up. Speaking of which, B-wok's going to announce a contest at the end of this episode. So you got to stay tuned.
Well, we'll do that. You want to do that on the Facebook? You want to throw that up on the Facebook and just make a post about it and see who goes with it?
We'll just announce the contest itself at the end of this issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, with the street teams, we've already got a kid by the name of James. I shouldn't say kid; he's in his mid-20s, but.
Kid to you, old man.
Yeah, he's awesome. He knows comics. He knows all that stuff. He has a shop out there that he's already going to all the time. So he's going to start promoting us there, and we figure, screw it, we'll start doing it in other cities.
So what you're saying is that we are looking for people like James in other cities, like I don't know, like a Kansas City, a Chicago, or anything like that.
Sure.
To go to their local comic book shop and tell them about NWI, show them the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Have them listen to the show. That's what we need from our street team. That's what
Introduce
you're
them to
telling
the
me.
new hotness.
It's going to be very simple. And if you want to be a part of that, or you want to just help out in general, or anything, you give us drop us a line at nerdswithissues@gmail.com.
So wait, I just want to clarify. So you're saying that the listeners that we have in, say, London,
right?
that they could do this for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a tea and crumpets type thing.
But
I love tea. You speak for yourself.
But there are nerds with issues in the UK, are there not?
I don't know. I'm starting to see new issues with Brian over here with his "I love tea."
I only learned
You love getting tea bagged.
I've learned one thing from college, and it's that I love coffee and tea.
Okay,
That's about it.
then your parents need to get their
teacher.
money back. Because if all you've learned is you love coffee and tea, then maybe it's not just Albuquerque public schools that have issues. Anyways, we would love for you to join our team and help us out.
Definitely.
NWI is gonna, we're gonna do big things in this next year. We're still going to a lot of the Comic Cons, but get at us through our email or Twitter if you want at Nerds with Issues. But the Gmail will be the easiest way for us to get in contact with you. So nerdswithissues@gmail.com. We'll get you some flyers. You can get them passed out, and then if we come to a city where they're doing a Comic-Con, you can come hang out with us. That'll be cool. We'd love it. Speaking of that, Phoenix Comic-Con in May 29th, I believe, through the 31st, I want to say. It's going to be awesome. If you haven't checked the guest list, check it out. Oh, my God.
We will be there.
Oh, we're being there. I'm not driving because it's Arizona.
But we will be there.
But we will definitely be there. The guest list is it's too phenomenal. I'm sorry, but Kaylee from Firefly is going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And
Dude, Mike McCone, Mike Allred, and Mike Mignola are all there. Those are three of my favorite mics. Ever.
Is it going to be weird if I'm like, hey, Kaylee, threesome with me and my fiance? Is it on the table? Is that going to be weird?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well, shit's about to get weird.
Hey, if nothing else, we get her autograph. Granted, it'll be on a restraining order, but it's her autograph nonetheless.
Yeah, she's going to autograph something weird. I'm just throwing that out there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good times. We're going to have a lot of fun for that, but mostly it's going to be just another great opportunity to promote this wonderful thing we got going, Nerds with Issues. So, we're coming to your town one way or another. We're going to figure something out, right? Am I right?
Gonna wreck stuff up.
Yep. Trash in hotels like it's going out of style, ladies and gentlemen.
It went out of style, and I'm not paying for that either. All right, so really quick, before we end everything on issue number 5, there's some cool stuff. We're going to be having there's going to be an announcement on the Kaboom Test Labs Facebook. Duke?
Well, and we alluded to this on our second episode, after Albuquerque Comic Con, because that is when this idea was born. Kaboom Test Labs, we are very excited, is about to launch our own web series, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be unlike anything you've quite seen. And we have some great ideas. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, we have come up with some amazing ideas for this show, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are going to need a lot of help from from the NWI listeners and from the Kaboom Test Labs customers.
Testies.
Right.
Absolutely. And just pay attention to the Kaboom Test Labs Facebook page, because there will be an announcement for extras and for crew, and just for a little bit of help in recording this all-new web series, and details to come.
Cool. So that'll be coming up. Stay tuned for that. I'm sure we'll mention something on the NWI Facebook as well.
Oh yeah, it'll be repeated on our page. Without a
And
doubt.
every week over the last few weeks here, the last few issues, we've been doing contests and giveaways, and we're not gonna stop now.
Oh yeah.
B-wok had a pretty good idea, so tell us what it is, buddy.
Yeah, we got a sweet little giveaway for all the NWI peeps that are sending us mad love.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
at, 141 likes now. It's awesome. We love all you guys. With that said, I happen to own an Amazing Spider-Man 50th anniversary poster. It's really awesome. It's actually connecting all the different variants Marvel's put out this year.
Nice.
And it's just spanning the history of Spidey. There's some awesome Civil War stuff on there.
Right.
Kraven's Last Hunt. You name it, you can think of a significant Spider-Man
great
event. It's
poster,
on this
yeah.
poster. It's awesome. You guys
Yeah.
have seen it.
Okay.
Anyway, I happen to have an extra one lying around. And with that said, everyone knows I love Spider-Man. I am a diehard Spider-Man fan.
sir.
Yes.
The contest is simple. Give us on our Facebook a couple sentences. Don't get crazy with it. I don't want to read no essays, but I'm going to give you a couple sentences explaining why you love Spider-Man and why you deserve the poster.
Yeah, and then
that simple.
we'll pick the best one. I dig it.
Yeah.
So-
now I was thinking maybe I'll throw in.
Is it one of those again?
I think I'm going to throw something in, but I don't
Drum
know.
roll, please.
But I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing.
Uh-oh.
Amazing Spider-Man, the last 10 issues before 700. I have those, and I have no interest in keeping them. Is that
Wow.
actually? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. It's so
was
wrong.
terrible.
So wrong.
It's Dan Slott's fault. What can I say?
Yeah, Dan
If
Slott is
nothing
kind
else,
of
there's
Chauncey.
some nice art in those issues.
Look, the art's great, but the stories are train wrecks. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Are you seriously putting that into the prize pot?
No, I was a
Okay.
joke.
I wasn't sure
I
what
was
you-
trying to be.
By the way,
obnoxious.
somebody
It
took
didn't
my
work.
Amazing Spider-Man 700 out of my box. I just want to throw that out there. It's no longer there.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Wasn't excited about that.
Sad face.
It was a sad face because I was going to get that today when I was in there. I was like,
Have you read it?
oh.
Because it's terrible.
Oh, I've read it. I was just going to, but whatever. So that's going to be the giveaway for this week. So all you got to do, jump on our Facebook, Nerds with Issues,
Free poster.
and you're going to get a free poster for just telling us what it is you love about Spider-Man and why you think you deserve the poster.
And you know, in all seriousness, so that I'm not characterized as a douchebag, I will
Too
throw,
late for that.
I will throw on a Marvel Universe 3 3/4 Ditko variant Spider-Man.
All right.
Very nice.
I like that.
The dark blue and red one.
All right. I dig it.
Alrighty.
So you got some good stuff, free stuff once again from NWI, and we'll put a post up about that on Facebook as well.
Absolutely.
To let you know where you can kind of write your little comment about I love Spider-Man because I love Dr. Octavius or something. We don't care as long as it's something good, and we're gonna let B-wok pick the winner on that one.
Absolutely.
Because obviously he's gonna be the judge on whether you deserve it or not.
Are you worthy?
Yeah.
Honestly, the most knowledgeable Spider-Man fan I've ever met is Mr. B-wok.
Yeah, but he also has a man crush on Tobey Maguire, and it's just sick. It's just
That's awful.
sick.
You should just never say that.
Actually,
bro.
I
That's
can't
not-
even agree with you on that
that's
because I know
not
how much he hates Tobey Maguire.
That's not true because nobody likes Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire doesn't like Tobey
It's like
Maguire.
people who gay bash secretly. They want to be gay. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm gonna bash Tobey Maguire because secretly I want him to teabag
Why
me.
do I feel dirty laughing at that?
Issue number 5. It seems like we are complete and ready to roll. It's been a good one. These things are flying by. So at some point we might have to extend how long this thing goes through. But we've enjoyed being with you again for another week. We look forward to getting this on SoundCloud and you downloading, doing whatever. If you have not gone to our SoundCloud page, go to soundcloud.com. And visit the Nerds with Issues site so you can get whatever issues you need from us.
Oh, boys and girls, we love you. We love the NWI listeners. We love that you guys tolerate our insanity, and we love
Absolutely.
that you guys seek us out every single week. Can't wait to talk to you guys next week.
Yep, we'll see you next week. Issue number 6. We'll think of something clever for it. In the meantime, we are out of here. Peace out. Thanks for hanging.
Adios.
Deuces.